like I can see people liking and utilizing me when it's of use to them.
The hurt from being close to people that you feel close to them, but they are only in relationship with you because of what you can do. People took the video that from the crew, and they took it way out of context.
Amen. Yeah. Okay. So you, man, um, the fact that you even started off saying that it was discouraging. Like, I think. Okay, so I don't need pats on the back, right? I don't need people to speak into me, but at the same time, after a while of feeling almost neglected, I then start to kind of almost question myself because again,
Yeah.
it's I know God made me to be dope, and I do dope things, right? I tell my gymnasts all the time. Anytime they do something, and they're like, "Oh my God, I was so surprised I hit this skill." And I said, "Why?" I said, "I'm a dope coach, teaching you to do dope things. Why would you be surprised that it hit, right?" And I have that mentality in just about everything. But at the same time, if I do feel neglected, I do start to question like, wait, am I just big headed? Am I arrogant? Is that what it is? Like, do I feel like I'm actually that much more? Well, no, it can't be the case because I keep getting called to DJ
Yeah.
for events. I keep, being hooked up with different artists, at times and stuff like that. Like I can see people liking and utilizing me when it's of use to them, but then
Yeah.
it doesn't always seem like there's a follow through. I,
Oh, wait.
I
That is it. That's it.
I know I'm hitting on something here. I
That's
want you to
it.
talk about that, bro. What did it feel like, especially coming up while you were touring, with Mineo and everybody else? Like, what did it feel like where you are, again, outside looking in, looked like you were super on the in with everybody, right? Because you were
Mhm.
all over
Mhm.
and you were drumming and you were doing this, that, and the third. And yet it didn't seem, not knowing your story beforehand, it didn't seem like you were either asking them to, but then knowing your story later on, no, nobody was reciprocating that for you.
Yeah.
How did
Yeah.
that how did that impact you, bro? Because there's a lot of people who would have that kind of scenario and go again, I'm gonna throw Jesus out the door, then forget y'all. Because ain't nobody, none
Yep.
of y'all can be real about it, right? So
Yep.
people can take that church hurt towards the person, right? And
Yeah.
instead throw it up to God and be like, oh, that's just how Jesus is. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
how did you
Yeah.
deal with all of that, bro?
Man, shoot, dude. I that is a very hard thing that I'm even trying to work through today.
Mm.
Um, and at this time is actually like the hurt from being close to people
Mm-hmm.
that you feel close to them, but they are only in relationship with you because of what you can do for
Wow.
them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that is something that just about any and everybody has to watch out for in any space.
Mm-hmm.
Like, um, it's because like there was a very popular artist that I have done a lot of work for, um, and huge artist, and um, I texted him about like maybe 6, 7 months ago, and no response. I texted him like
Mm.
twice, no response. And then he called me and was just like, what's good, bro? How's everything? I'm like, straight. And I answered the phone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this dude calling me? Oh, for sure. Okay, bet.
Yeah.
And and I'm like, all right. I get on the hey bro, can you do me a favor?
Wow.
I'm trying to look for this and da 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 da. I'm like, all right, I took the time that I needed to find whatever he was looking for and send it
Mm-hmm.
to him. And then he was just like, bro, if you got any beats, send them over. I'm working on the album. I'm like, all right. And then, you know, I didn't want to ask him, but I'm like,
Right.
hey, bro, I text you about you doing a feature for me. What's
Yep.
up? Oh man, I've got to get this album done, da 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 da, whatever the case may be. But you can send it over. I know
Mm.
exactly what that meant.
Yep.
I knew exactly what that meant. It
Yep.
was just like, nah. But that was years. It's years and years of something like that happening to
Sheesh.
where like I felt like I was in the end and I felt like we had a relationship, but it was just like you're only with me because of what I can do.
Yep.
And my upbringing, even though family was huge, I'm grateful for my family, but we moved around a lot.
Mm.
So like I didn't have the concept of like having a childhood friend, like growing up in one location and learning the different aspects of friendship
Yeah.
and how to interact with people and
Mm.
stuff like that. So that now, like not knowing, not being stable and being used to moving around, that plus now I'm touring, being in different cities each night and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like mentally, I'm just checked out as far as like being stable,
Wow.
like actually learning how to be a friend. So now when people actually want to be a friend of me, I don't know how I accept it because I'm automatically thinking that you know what I'm saying?
What you
You just
want?
want to be with me
What you
because
want?
of what I can
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? And and then I feel like I can trust you. Ah, snap! Years go into it, and like you literally tell me, "Yo, bro, like I think you kind of shady, but I'm only rocking with you because of what you can do."
Woo. Boy.
But I thought we was cool. Like you one of the
Man.
people that I consider a best, like a good friend of mine. And to kind of find out, like because I didn't do this the right way, or the whatever the case may be, or you felt like this. Now, like you just put me in this certain category because or whatever.
Yep.
And so a lot of that, that's the stuff that I'm trying to work through right now. As far as like not letting that past hurt just affect me in
Yeah.
today's friendships and relationships. And it's honestly, it's I can't really like explain it and really vocalize
Mm-hmm.
like how I'm actually able to process it and try to get through it because it's just a lot
Yeah.
of stuff that has happened.
Yeah, man. So how?
Um,
Okay. So, especially in the age of which that we live with social media and everything else, man. Like, how do you? Because how do you restrain yourself from airing out the dirty laundry, right? From putting people on blast. Like that's because it. We know it would be a mistake to build, a career on that kind of content, right?
yeah,
Obviously, it
yeah,
would do no good whatsoever. But at the same time, at some point, you almost kind of feel this like justice, like I ought to let people know so that either
yeah,
A, they don't go through the same thing, or they realize, hey, this is what you're dealing with. So like
yeah.
how have you like restrained yourself from doing stuff like that?
People gotta stop. People gotta stop with this double standard. This like keep the same energy on both sides.
Facts.
Like the reason why I don't call people out because of stuff that happened, because I probably wouldn't want somebody to do that. Like I would
Right.
want
Right.
somebody
Right. Right.
to,
Right.
what I'm saying, hit me up before they do something. And if I don't respond after some time, okay, yeah, but don't throw me under the bus with it. You can say something like people hit me up like was going off at me because I brought up the whole Andy Mineo situation.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, that was oh, he shouldn't feel entitled. And why is he talking about this now? People were calling me like back to back, like, bro, why are you
Mm.
talking about this story? Why are you putting them out there like that? Like, well, first of all, there's a lot of stories because that people in cross
Mm.
paths and all that. There's a lot of stuff,
Yep.
and because he is who he is, you don't want to say nothing.
Yep.
Like that's kind of like it's I mean because like it's the clout of it. It's just like you don't want to lose the connection or you don't want to be blackballed or something like that. It's just
Yeah.
like no, bump all of that. Like okay, I didn't I could have said something to begin with, but I waited years after I had a conversation with him, and then I'm like, all right, I feel like I can talk about this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Run it back. I put it all throughout my music. in Better Late Than Never. It was all up in Better Late Than Never. You would never know that I was talking about him.
Right.
But
I'm gonna have to listen through it now. But yeah.
like just so it's it takes some restraint to actually like and some real discipline to be like, you know what, I can really air you out right now,
Yep.
but I'm choosing not to because like I don't want to look a certain way. I don't
Right.
want to look like, you know what I'm saying? Just like people took the video that I, from the crew
Mm-hmm.
and they took it way out of context.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, the only reason why I was able to say something because I felt like we had a conversation about it. We came to a conclusion.
Right.
Me and Andy had an understanding of whatever, what it was. But it's just all right, cool. I feel like I can talk about it,
Right. Right. Yeah.
and it's just a part of my life. Like, why can't I speak on it? I'm not talking down on them. It
Right.
was just an experience.
Absolutely. Well, and that's the thing. Like I like you said. Like what? I can't share the truth. Like it's the truth. Like, and
Yeah.
shout out to D Lee. Sorry, I don't know how to say your name on the username, but there are people who they can mistake something like you sharing that story as gossip, and it's like no.
Mm-hmm.
Gossip, first off, is normally untrue. Okay. Secondly, it's normally done without having a prior conversation to the person of which it's about, right? So
Yeah.
if you're going about it the right direction, right, where you are trying to actually, as Scripture would even talk about, but it's in context of an actual local church. That's a whole different thing. But where you go
Yeah.
to your brother directly, if you're doing that, and rather it's on a good note, bad note, whatever, if it was at least done in an attempt with a pure heart,
Yeah.
and then you go to go on to share about it, that is not gossip, right? That is not
Yeah.
putting down, like you said, or whatever. Because again, even like the interview that you did with the crew, like it wasn't like you belittled him. It wasn't like, yeah, no, he ain't nothing. Like like it wasn't that at all. It was, hey, this is my truth. This is the experience that I had. If you had a better experience,
Mm-hmm.
amen, glory to God. That's cool. That's just not my part of my story. And so
Right.
I'm
Right.
sharing my story from what I experienced and how I am processing through that. And I think that's important because again, this is how things continue to happen when people don't say anything, right?
Yeah.
We normally hear about it more in like like SA type stuff or whatever, where she didn't say nothing and the leader kept being able to do this and started doing this with other women. Well, like we hear it in that scenario, but it's the same thing for anything else. It's the same thing
Yeah.
for artists to artists, for producers. Like if you get wronged and all you do is keep your mouth shut because, like you said, you don't want your money, you don't want your wallet to get hurt, you don't want to
Yeah.
lose out on a booking because you said something. Now what ends up happening is you have shackles on. You don't know, but
That is a real thing. Yeah.
yeah. So
That
it's
is a real thing.
I think the probably the most realist thing that somebody could do, for instance, when they hear a story, and if you guys don't know too much about it, you could, I'm sure you could find it on your own, but when you hear someone who has gone through something like that, instead of being very quick to come to a conclusion, first pray for that person, right? Pray for the relationship to be restored if it's not restored, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pray that they're at least able to work through it, whatever the case. Like let's just go to prayer first versus jumping to a conclusion and then writing you off. I'm not even saying judging. I'm just saying like, oh well, man, if that's just how he is, I'm just not going to listen to his music anymore. It's like, well, now wait a minute, that's taking it wrong. So could
Yeah.
you, because Thea's asking right now, could you give, because she's new to the Christian music,
Mm-hmm.
could you give kind of like a brief summary as to what we're talking about so people can have a little bit more context?
Yeah. I can give a brief summary. So I was a drummer for Andy Mineo from since he got signed, I think in 2011 to like 2016. I produced for him. If I wasn't on the road doing my own music, I was with him.
Yeah.
touring, doing a lot of shows, having like actual like one-on-one hangout session, flights, tour bus, like in the most like intimate, not sexually though, but the most like like actually feeling like becoming close to some people. And I supported him a lot in his career. I got a lot of knowledge, and grateful for the platform that I was able to be on, help play with, and the different experiences that came along with it.
Mm-hmm.
Extremely grateful for it, for sure, and the help and the knowledge of I learned how to do like music engineering or live audio engineering from being on tour because I just asked questions.
Yeah.
Oh, how did this work? How did that work? So now I know I can go and do sound for a big event if I wanted to. So that came from touring. So I'm so grateful for everything that has happened. The flip side of that is that uh, I wasn't, I felt not respected as an artist. I felt not respected as, my own individual, for my own individual career.
Mm-hmm.
There were some things shared as far as like, hey, I produced songs for him, I wrote stuff for him, and all that type of stuff. And so, on the side, I made my own music. Black Knight he's here. Like there
Yeah.
was Reach, and there was Lecrae and all of them. Then there was Black Knight.
Yep. Yeah. True.
And
That's true.
that's the honest factor of it. It's like Black
Yep.
Knight was literally everywhere. So, but I had a lot of hit songs for sure. But Andy was somebody that I looked up to musically, and I really valued his opinion and everything that I made. And I shared him some music, and ultimately he was just like, bro, like this sounds like it's disrespectful to rap. Like you should stop rapping.
Mm.
You should just stick to making beats and writing music for other people because you don't have the voice for it.
Wow.
And I'm like, wait, what? And telling me, yeah, bro, like Bible's in there. You should delete that off the internet. Like it's corny. I'm like, but it's my biggest song.
Yep.
Why you telling me to delete my money maker? Like I'm getting booked and I'm making money
Off
off.
that
I'm
song.
like,
Yep. Yeah.
so, and it's just like my name is hot. Like, I don't think I've ever said this story, but like headphones. He wanted the song Headphones.
Mm.
And I'm like, nah. And because I put it out,
Yeah.
now you feel like that song is trash because you didn't, but you wanted the beat and you wanted the song
Yep.
because you liked the song. But because you wasn't rapping on it, it's now a disgrace to hip hop music.
Right.
But is that coming from somebody who you really really looked up to?
And I think that's
And
the part. Like for the
that's the
context,
part.
that for context for anybody who's watching this back on YouTube or whatever, that's the part right there. This isn't like this isn't like me trying to hit up Lecrae, who yes I've ran into, but I have no relation at all, and I'm asking, hey, can I DJ for you? Hey, because I know DJ Promote, can I get on or whatever? And then him saying something, super direct like that. Like that's not the context we're talking about. If anybody knows anything about touring, like day in day out, you are with that person, and so there are a lot of times where you feel like, especially if you're a person who is pretty open-hearted regardless, and you value community and you feel like you're being really a part of everything, that's in a sense, and I'm not saying this may have been intentional, but in a sense, that is what being led on is called. That's what being led on is you feel like everything, they're for you, all of this is happening or whatever, and
The
then
support is there. Yep.
right. And not only is there a no, but it's not in a constructive way of like, hey, these are some things, that maybe so and so has said to me, and because I value them, I'm gonna share this information. Like it wasn't sharing information, right? From what I'm understanding, it was a little bit more of a more like a stab than it was a nudge or a turnaround of conversation. So that's the context.
And that's a good way to put it. I'm sometimes I'm bad at like trying to like actually put my emotions and feelings into words. I just be with it. People just don't understand. I'm like, no, that's not what I meant. Hold on.
Right.
But me
and it's not
Andy,
like you're. I'm reading the chat too here, so it's not. I'm reading. It says they said no. No, you can warn other people to be careful while covering the other in love. Envy is a beast. So it's not like Brandon was being envious of a person thing. Because again, more context. Your music was already being pushed. Like you didn't have to have anybody on there to already be exploded, because you are very right. As Reach Records was continuing to do their thing or whatever, it was for the lack of better words, a Black Knight era where your music was everywhere, that tagline was everywhere. Like everybody, especially coming off the Rapzilla thing, everybody wanted you to produce some stuff, whatever. I remember hearing about how KB and Andy Mineo were wanting certain tracks and stuff, and so it wasn't like you were feeling this kind of way because you wanted their status. If you were on freaking tour with them, so it wasn't that degree. Again, it's the context of everything. So sorry, I didn't want me to cut you off. I just wanted to kind of give that context for those who are outside of the space.
It's not me being envious, or it's not. Yeah, you put it the way that you put it was a very excellent. It was more so validation, like, and I know that, like, okay, like, I'm not putting all of my hopes and dreams in if they validate me, but it's just like, yo, like, as a brother, if I feel like we're close, like, I feel like it's okay if you put, if I be like, yo, if it's okay for you to say, yo, this is dope. Like, yeah, let me hop on it. Let me just do it. Like, let me just give you a quick 8. You know what I'm saying? Because like, yo, you're dope. Like, I see what you're doing, King. Like, all this type of stuff. And I didn't receive that at the time. It was just like, yo, stick to just playing drums, stick to just producing or something like that. And it was just like, and at the end of it, I was definitely hurt by it. I was definitely, for sure. And it took me some years to actually have a conversation. And then when I sat down with him, he was just like, I tried my best to share my heart with him. And he was just like, bro, like, I'm sorry, I didn't know that. That was a time where I thought my opinion mattered. You know what I'm saying? And who am I to speak on somebody else's musical preference and me thinking that mine is better than theirs? Like, we come from 2 different sections of the country. California music is different than New York music. And he was just like, I didn't realize what my musical taste is not the end all be all. Who am I to be like, stop doing music? And I was just like, he was just like, I had some growing up to do. And it was a very transparent moment between me and him. And I was like, all right, cool. All right, I understand. I mean, and it was just like, I can talk about it.
Yeah.
Because we talked about it.
Yes. Yes. And I think just like, I think that's wonderful that you guys not only had that conversation, and thank you for sharing that part too, because I don't know how much, because drama sells, right? Drama runs up clicks and everything else or whatever. We strive here to not be the Christian TMZ. So I thank you for sharing that part, because I want that part right there, because we are about restoration, right? The church, the body, the gospel itself is about restoration. And so restoration doesn't have to look like all of a sudden Mineo is on, a whole project, like y'all doing a duo project or whatever. Restorations or even steps towards it is just as simple of having the man-to-man conversation, and for even Andy to be humble enough to reflect back and go, yeah, I was out of pocket. That's just, I shouldn't have done that, and I'm not saying that it like covers, all of the hurt and everything else or whatever, but I want to make a point here right now that not only did you guys both have that conversation, but that there was a transparency through that conversation that
Right.
I feel like brought a lot of glory to God's name because of how two brothers in Christ
Yeah.
were able to have that conversation. I think that's important to
Yeah.
really sit on, though.
Yeah. 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 And that's the stuff that people don't talk about because it's not clickbait.
Yep.
It's, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of my career, there's been times where like apparently I've done something to hurt people and
Mm.
like I would never know. And they'll actually feel a way about me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know that you feel a way.
Right.
Like I don't know that I hurt you because you over here talking to other people. I'm finding out from somebody else.
Mm.
And it's
That's
just
always
like
worse. Always worse.
am I low key blackballed because you didn't want to talk to me about how you felt in 2013?
Whew.
And it's just like people talk about certain things, and it's just like, okay, but you never actually came to me, and you never actually hurt my heart
Yeah.
about like, okay, what made you do that, Brandon? It's my bad. Like, okay, I'm learning or whatever the case may be. Like, I'm just now starting. I was 19 and I got this clock to my name.
Yeah.
Like I'm all right, I'm 21 and I'm on tour. Like I'm 22 and I'm in Australia. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna have a big head just a little bit. Like
Right. Right.
but it's
Yeah.
just like without somebody to actually come and talk to me about it,
Yeah.
I would never know.
Mm.
So it's just like I'm kind of a firm believer about like not talking about people because especially if I haven't went to go talk to that certain person,
Right.
you know.
Right.
So
You know,
yeah.
and I think and Lecrae has said it on the basement
Hmm.
with Tim Ross here recently, and I love that he um, put it in words this way, where for him he was saying, with all the people who have their different opinions about Lecrae, and especially during that whole murky time of I don't want to be, I'm not a Christian rapper, I'm a rapper that's Christian, like that whole
Mm,
ordeal.
mm,
I love the fact that he had shared on the basement that he's like, I'm growing up in front of everyone, right? And that's the thing. You as a young person, you are growing up in front of everyone, being exposed to more than most people
yeah,
that age ever would be. And I think we as fans, as people who are outside looking in, do artists and people who are on stages a disservice. Now the problem though is that then there would be people on this outside looking in will go, well, that's what they signed up for. If they didn't want to have all this pressure, then why get in
right,
front of a camera? Why get in front of? And it's like, no, now wait a minute, that's unfair. Like there are different standards, yes, but at the same time, you are a human being, right? Thea was
right,
talking about, I didn't know Christian music was complicated, and I responded, people are complicated. Like that's just the nature of the beast. So
yeah, yeah,
this is all happening in real time for you. Again, back like the earlier in the conversation, it's not like you were in a position or a place or a mental space or whatever to be able to zoom out and understand everything that was going on. You were in the middle of all of it, so
yeah,
you were viewing it as the young man that you were, exposed all at the same time, and then you're working, with your heroes, and then you're getting cut, and then you're working through stuff, and then you are realizing, wait a minute, nobody, everybody's trying to act like I'm not out here doing stuff. Like, there's okay for a man. Let me get some context for those of you who have only heard about toxic masculinity and all that
yeah,
crap, right? Let me give you some context, especially again as a father of two boys, okay? And I know myself personally and how it is for the relationship that I have with my father. He's my dad. He's technically my stepdad, but he's the only dad I've ever known. He came to my life when I was at a very young age. And one of the biggest things that I always thank him for is thank you for never treating me as anything less than your own son. And
mm,
as a man, there is no other power that a young man can feel than the validation from the men that they look up to.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so if we get hurt by the men that we are looking up to, it hits differently than just anybody else saying something against us or whatever. So
Facts.
when a man, for ladies, if you guys don't know too, we as men, we think a lot more than you think. And though we don't know how to articulate it, right, rather with our words, process through our emotions, there's always something on our mind. I tell my wife all the time, I'm always thinking about something. So when you're not getting any validation from anywhere, you start to really question everything that you are as a man. And that is not only harmful to you, but as we see with society, can also ripple affect everyone else around you.
Yeah.
So I think that's also really important to state with all of this, that it wasn't just the Andy Mineo thing. It's not just the, other people in the music industry or whatever. Just as a man, when somebody who, again, you look up to, who's a mentor, whatever the case may be, when they go, hey, I see you. You're doing some really dope stuff. That can just shoot you to a whole nother level.
Woo.
Man.
And that's really the key point. There is just like validation is huge. It really is huge, because if you're not validated at something that you're saying or the feelings that you feel or whatever the case may be, your automatic result is to close off.
Yep.
And not want to say anything at all. So the next time something comes up, it's just like, oh, well, I automatically know I can't share that because I'm automatically about to be shut down. You know what I'm saying? In relationships, it's just like, yo, if I try to share something, it could be a little bit of whatever, and you go off or use this or whatever the case may be. Mentally, I'm like, well, all right, I'm not about to share that with you anymore. So now, now I have this pent up stuff, and I don't know who to talk to or whatever the case may be, because somebody else shut me down for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now I don't know. I got all this pent up, emotion, and men, we're taught not to show emotion.
Mm-hmm.
The only emotion that is okay to show is anger. That's how you know that you're a man. It's just like, wait a minute, hold on, I actually hurt. This is hurting me.
Right. Yeah, like, it'd be like a little cut, like a paper cut, and you're like, oh, that kind of hurts, and then you're like, no, not ow, freaking like,
yeah, and it's just like, and it's okay to just be honest.
Yeah,
and like, and having somebody to, I'm so glad, for my chick, because like whenever she does, I'll be having like some very vulnerable moments, and she'd be like, you know what, Brandon, hey, relax, bro. Like, you're actually dope. You're actually the GOAT at what you do. Like, you have done so much, and like, you don't let whatever is like discourage you right now. Like, you're actually keep going, go. I'm like, oh, what? But I feel no. Don't listen to. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Like, it's okay. Understand how you feeling, right? It's okay to feel how you feeling, but just remind yourself that who you are and what God made you to be. And I was like, all right.
Hey, I know, right? I know, bro. Yeah, man. I remember the first time I got a chance to DJ an after party for Life Fest in Wisconsin, and I was about to go on stage, bro. And I kid you not, again. So I tell people all the time, I am the most insecure person that you'll meet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Secure in the sense of, hey, listen, I ain't no punk, so you better watch how you step into me right now. Like, that's not.
Yeah.
I'm not that. Okay. But at the same time, again, I'm in my head. So I'm about to go on stage or whatever, and I'm being honest with my wife. I'm like, yo, this is just how I feel. And she's like, hey, you're going to be amazing. You always do great. As soon as you get started, nothing's going to be, whatever. So, yeah, again, it's just like, it's so weird because, like, as confident of a person, as you can be, just that small little moment of like doubt, and then all of a sudden someone speaks into
Validation kicks in.
You do that, and you're like, you darn right. I'm gonna go do this real fast. You know what I mean? Like, I feel that, bro. I feel that.
I was doing I opened up for Fred Hammond last year, and
Oh, wow.
it was like a churchy, like everybody around all the openers was churchy, just church. And if you grew up in church, you know exactly what I mean by churchy. And so I'm like, dang, I'm not churchy. And I went to my crew, and I was just like, man, I just feel like I have to be churchy. I feel like I just got to be churchy because everybody else is just like, I'm not that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm churchy, but I'm not that. It was just like, bro, be you. Like, be you.
Yeah.
And then we got up there, and then I will say this, like, all the people that came before us, it was just all showboating. It was just all like, there was no oil in there. There was like the spirit, it was just like, what's happening right now? And then when we got up there, God moved. And what I took from that is like, if I try to be something that I'm not, if I wasn't confident in me, and I tried to be churchy like somebody else, that would have went a whole nother way.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But because of that validation that I got, it's like, Brandon, just be you. Like, you're dope. Just be you.
Yep.
Like, I was just confident and was able to just be myself. You know what I'm saying?
That's it,
so
man.
it's deeper. Going back to the whole, it's deeper than just the wanting a verse or trying to get the spotlight or whatever the case may be. It was just like validation. Just, it hits different, bro.
Yeah.
It really does hit different.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Shout out to my team, Corazon and It Will Come a Cold. They give me a hard time right now because now they're talking about how I get on them when they're in their head, but and then I'll be in my head. And so I get it though. So hey, if you liked any of this content and you found some value in it, make sure that you like, subscribe, and of course share it. Also, if you're interested in some more, go ahead and check out these videos. Till next time, grace and peace. Adios.